just recently, it's been announced Assassin's Creed is being turned into a TV series, but won't be rushed. They don't have a time frame when they'll start filming, but they're in the process making it a TV show. But last year, the Ubisoft CEO confirmed they were in talks to make a TV series with Netflix, and that was last year. So I know Netflix. I know, Rich, you love the Marvel on Netflix.
Even Iron Fist, yes.
Even Iron Fist. Have you watched Iron Fist?
I am on episode 11.
Okay.
I have no idea what the fuck Iron Fist is. I guess that's for another time. Another place we'll talk about Iron Fist.
It's not a porno.
Then I'm not watching it then. Fuck it. You got me excited. I was trying to hide my erection.
And I was going to make a Kunlun joke, but...
Yeah. I thought it was like Iron Man. I thought it was a porn version of Iron Man called Iron Fist, and you fucking fist her.
And he peppered her?
Oh, she got peppered.
Oh, yeah, the Iron Fist. Like the Salt Bay. He peppers her.
I have no idea what's happening. Back to Assassin's Creed.
I love mixing memes. It's
So,
awesome.
Ubisoft, they're also producing, so far in the works, a Splinter Cell.
Boobisoft.
Boobisoft. Ubi.
Drinks are kicking in.
Ubisoft, working on producing a Splinter Cell with Tom Hardy and The Division with Jake Gyllenhaal. So, Rich, I know you loved Assassin's Creed. Have you seen the movie yet?
No.
Mo, have you seen the movie Assassin's
I
Creed?
have not. I wanted to.
Okay, so that's the end of the segment. We'll talk after. We'll come back after we watch the movie. I was hoping you guys have. I haven't.
So that's kind of the problem. Here's my part of this Assassin's Creed thing. It's not going to happen. It's not.
The TV show.
I want it to, but it's not. This is normal.
Halo's still happening.
I'm sure that's what 343 wants people to think, and Microsoft wants people to think, but everybody in Hollywood knows that script's not going anywhere. And let's be honest, we don't want to see them translate that, because you can't do 40 hours of story over 5 games. Even if you just took the first game, that's at least an 8-hour to 12-hour experience if you were doing all the mythology,
that's a season,
world building.
Right? That's a season.
That would be a season, yeah. But you don't have the budget to do that on TV. And so you'd have to go for a movie, and a movie, it can't be condensed into an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. There's no way that you can do that. So it'll always be crap. That's why these movie translations don't work. And I'll be honest, that's why people look at, again, Iron Fist being kept out of that. But that's why these comic book movies, or why the Avengers movies work so well, is it's long-form storytelling, but they were doing it in movies. But people like the Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, the Defenders, they're enjoying that more because you can tell one grand story or a collection of smaller stories over the course of a season, as opposed to 2 or 3 movies, and there's 3 years in between each of them. Movies are not the way to go, but they don't have the TV budget, and they've hurt their IP by doing that movie. Nobody watched it. How many times have I talked about how much I love Assassin's Creed, and I didn't watch the movie? And I'm a movie guy, too. So what does that tell you?
So you don't think the TV show will happen?
I want it to. I hope it does. If there's anything that they can do to make it happen, yes. But here's what I think it'll be. It'll be like the Mortal Kombat TV show that was on TNT back in the day, where they use some concepts, they use some names, they'll drop things. This is the biggest... I know this is a video game show, but I'm a geek all around. I hate when someone takes a known property and they... Instead of just telling their own story or adapting an existing story, and sometimes you can't do a straight adaptation, you have to make some adjustments to make it more realistic or fit in the style that you're doing or fit in the time constraints. But when you do something that is just to drop a name in, but it has nothing to do with what that character or that situation has to do, like calling it Age of Ultron has nothing to do with the Age of Ultron comics. It didn't help sales because that book came out a year and a half before the movie hit. So it didn't do anything for Marvel's comic book sales. The only reason you did it is because you said, that sounds good for marketing. That's the only reason. Or the best example is that third Batman Christopher Nolan movie, where he goes, why don't you go by your regular name? It's so nice. You should go by Robin. And we all go, oh my God, Batman's sidekick's name was Robin, and he was Batman's sidekick, and his name's Robin. But he's not Robin. That was you just trying to wink and nudge.
Because
And
Chris O'Donnell is Robin.
he's not either. But when you do that, no. But that's I actually am more. I'm more sickened by that.
Everybody cool it.
Can we just chill?
Can we just chill? Anybody freeze.
I wanted to have a nice day. No, but when you do that, it's.
My dog didn't like that very much.
No,
He's
like, fuck you guys.
That is polishing a turd. You didn't do anything with it, and you thought that
Sounds like fun.
Just because you said that name, I'd go, I know that name, and that would be enough for me to overlook your bad storytelling or your misuse of the property. If you don't know how to fit in Robin in the story, then don't put him in the story. He doesn't have to be there. It would be nice if you could tell that story, but if that wasn't your intention with the story you're telling, then don't at the last minute or some other time, whenever they drop in something like, oh yeah, so I was in Bloodhaven last week. What does that mean to anybody other than I go, Bloodhaven's the town where Nightwing, who used to be Robin, he used to operate out of there when he went separate from Batman.
Yeah.
Do you fucking care as someone who didn't know that in the first place? And did it do anything for me as somebody who did know that? It did nothing for either one of us, except have a bunch of clickbait articles written that says that guy knows the material. He doesn't, because he didn't use it properly.
Right.
So that's what I'm worried will happen with Assassin's Creed.
Okay, I was like, I thought we were talking about Assassin's Creed.
No, but if you just tell the story, if you drop this is the problem with that IP. If you only tell the historical story, which is awesome and well done, you're missing the point of what they're doing. And if you only tell the modern storytelling, or you get caught in focusing on that bores the people that really like the fact that we can go back to Istanbul in the 13th century and deal with that kind of stuff. So if you're not playing to the community as a whole, if you focus on one aspect but you leave it, that's not the property. That's not what they are. I'm going to tell Super Mario Brothers, but we're not going to have Goombas. We're not going to have pipes. We're not going to have Bowser. We're not going to have the princess. They're not going to be plumbers. But he's going to wear red overalls, so you guys should be happy, right? No, that's not a Mario movie.
And put in Dennis Hopper.
Exactly. And what did that movie do? They didn't understand anything about that. And maybe that was a hard one to translate. But that's not what that movie's problem was. They weren't trying to translate it. That's what the problem was. They didn't know what the hell they wanted to be. That was basically, in my opinion, that was a sci-fi script that they said, what can we throw on this that people know? Because this seems like a hard sell. Well, people know Super Mario Brothers. Okay, so we turned them from skeleton aliens into turtle aliens. And that's what they did. It's a waste of everybody's time, and it damages the overall product. It makes it harmful for people to do stuff. Do you ever think we'll see another Mortal Kombat TV show or movie? You might, but look at what they tried to do with the grassroots efforts with the Mortal Kombat before Mortal Kombat X came out. Jerry Ryan, Michael Jai White, people like that were involved.
Yeah.
And it was well received, even though it was kind of a newer, more gritty, R-rated kind of take on stuff, and it still went nowhere. It did nothing. Machinima made a few bucks off of some clicks from that, but it got nothing done.
Yeah, and it was okay, like the start of it too, on the Mortal Kombat side. I watched a few of those episodes, and I was like, okay, well, maybe you can take off, and it just went... Phew.
No, they got attention for the rebooting of their universe for the games, but that was kind of a side benefit.
Yeah, it was.
Because that was kind of a dead IP, which is what they were trying to do, is rejuvenate it by trying to make it hip and fresh and world build from the beginning, as opposed to, I did this, now how do I add new elements? And when you start spreading it out with all these retcons, it becomes hard to reconcile stuff. But
So to summarize 10 minutes, do not do an Assassin's Creed TV show is what you're
no,
saying.
you can, but I don't think that they'll do it the way that they need to, because they're not
How
going
would
to
you
have
do
the budget. Like I said, I would slowly build the story where I would tell Desmond's story, and I know that that's what bothers people. That's part of the problem with that IP, is you have to tell the story of the guy who goes, a group of assassins, and why would I be part of that? And then he gets brought into the whole thing, he gets put in the Animus, he connects with the different people in his lineage, and that's where you have the time travel aspect, and that the fact that he has multiple ancestors that are part of the Assassin's Brotherhood through that one bloodline would be a great way for you to do like a Doctor Who type of thing, where I tell 3 seasons with this character.
Who?
Exactly. The New Day. But you tell that story, and then when that actor starts getting the itch of, I'm going to do movies or another project after 3 or 4 years, then you go, well, guess what? Now I'm going to bring in Ezio. And you recast him, and that guy goes on for 3 or 4 years, and then you bring in somebody else, and you can do that. The problem is that you have to have the same consistent Desmond, and he can't really show age. Those guys could, because it could be over multiple years, but it would be hard to do. I don't think that fits in a movie. I think that's part of the problem with that movie. Why it didn't get over is there's too many high concept sci-fi tropes that you have to throw in there to explain to people that there's too much homework. That if it makes sense, you have to already be a fan. Then why are you making a movie? Just keep making the game because you already know what your fan base is. You know what numbers you need to hit to make the next iteration of the game. When you're trying to expand to a wider audience, you need to grab them. But if you say, well, I need you to go and do 20 hours of research before you come to the theater, and I'm going to need $15 for each seat, that's a harder sell than, hey, you've been playing this every year for the past 5 years. Can I have my $60 this December? And you get it, and you get the same thing. You go, well, that was a fun 40 hours, and you continue, and you get little nuggets here and there, and nerds like me will talk to you about it, but that puts you in a little niche. Maybe a bigger niche, because it has been fairly successful, but let's be honest, it's not the number one seller, and it's not worldwide known, because like I said, you would have to research, what the fuck is the Animus? What's this story? I see people in medieval times, and I see a guy that's flipping around in a white prison outfit, and he's got some big mechanical sci-fi arm holding him up. I can't tell, is this the future, the past? Is he a time traveler? I don't know.
It's Days of Future Past.
Just because Magneto's in it? Is that why?
Mo, have you played any of the Assassin's Creed?
I played all of them, except what was the one? Oh, actually, I didn't play Revelations.
Ooh,
I did not play, and I played all of them, every single one except Revelations, and even the little side, what was it? The side ones from China, and I played all those. The Russian one too.
Yeah, all right.
So how would you do a TV show for Assassin's Creed?
I actually like the idea that he was talking about, like working off Desmond, like it was Desmond when in the whole ancestry thing. Like he had so many ancestors that were assassins, and just to
Templars
too, and they were half Templars or they were Templars, and then just whatever. But to tell like what he was saying is like even start for a first season. You can tell the story of one of his ancestors, and then next season come around and be like, okay, well, this what his ancestor did led to this, and this is his mother ancestor, and continue that story, or you could
even mix and match it and have him.
That's
he
a very
starts chasing
interesting,
something in the first ancestor, and then you watch a couple episodes or a few scenes or whatever, and it leads to they take like the Apple of Eden and they put it somewhere, and then. The next part of that is then he goes into Ezio, who's a few hundred years later, and he finds where it was, was buried out in the middle of the woods. And okay, now we know where to continue the whole thing.
And just to correct myself, I actually played Revelations. I didn't play the third one, which was the
with Connor.
Yeah, Connor. I didn't play that one. I completely skipped that one, which I heard it was
because it was out in the woods so much. There's not a lot of rooftop running you can do.
Right.
That's why.
I left that one out. I didn't do that one. I did play Revelations.
It was good, but Connor was not.
No.
He wasn't well thought out. Let's put it that way. If they had gone with Haytham, his father, who you start the game as, that was the interesting story.
Yeah.
That's why I picked up Rogue, is because I wanted to play that other side of the conflict, because we're seeing one side.
Rogue was very interesting too. That was.
Do you think Netflix would be a great platform and a budget for Assassin's Creed TV series?
They can do it. I mean, they have. Seeing these Marvel, the Marvel shows, they have the possibility to do it. It just, once again, the story has to be written correctly, or that captures the audience. Because trying to explain all that history, that's a lot of history there, a lot, and it could be a lot. It led to confusion and just people losing interest real fast.
Well, would you do a spin-off of the characters that's in the game, or how do you do the story?
No, you have to do the game. If you want to draw people in, that's why it won't work as a movie. You can't tell the story of the game in 2 hours, because you will either skip over stuff that makes you connect to the material or connect to the characters. And you can't have Michael Fassbender play both parts. It has to be Fassbender is either in the past or the present, and then he's somebody else. Because when he's playing both, I hate to admit this because I like to think the audience is smarter. Some of them aren't. Some of them aren't as invested or as passionate or caring. When they see Michael Fassbender dressed in the assassin's robe and then they see him in that prison getup, they don't understand that those are two different characters. That one of them goes back into the mind of the other one and he's existing there. And it's only a visual representation so you can follow that that's the character.
They're two different characters?
Yes. Because it's his ancestor.
It is his ancestor.
So technically they're two different people.
He's playing the part of... It's like playing the part of whatever his ancestor was or whatever. You know?
Yeah, see that right there? Where you had to go, they're two different people, and then he had to
What?
tell you, and then you were like, how do I explain this?
Yeah,
That's why it doesn't work as a movie. That's exactly why.
Now...
There's no elevator pitch, and I hate the elevator pitch. I don't want, it's wagon train in space. There's the old Star Trek gimmick. And trying to explain it.
The way to start out that type of show would just be with them explaining to, okay, this is the Animus. This is what it does. You have to go through that whole explanation. That's going to take
and that's why it helps to have the Desmond character, whether it's literally Desmond or another character. Have him there, and you have your Lucy type that's walking him through here's what I'm going to do. This is the experiment we're doing. And she is basically giving you your info dump. And we experience it through him, and then he goes and he starts experiencing stuff in the past. And that's where he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So when things you make a mistake, like you fall off a rooftop, because you're like, oh, this is just a game, I can't get hurt, and you fall off, and you're like, well, you're desynchronized, we can't do anything for 12 hours. Right. You have that little part of the scene.
Too soon.
You have that part of the scene.
Desync, man. That too soon. I can't stand that shit. Fuck!
It wasn't a manufacturing error.
God damn it.
No, but when you have that, that's where you set up the boundaries for the world.
But there was also that part in the game where Desmond is running through Abstergo, and he's realizing there's other people in these Animus.
Yeah.
And even with the
and that's
show...
What, later on, they show, that's the whole... They start making video games, and us playing the game is where they're guinea pigs.
Exactly.
They're trying to find the assassins that haven't been tapped yet.
In what was it, the pirate one? When you start realizing that, you're like, okay,
4, yeah.
Yeah, 4, the Black Flag.
Yeah.
You start realizing that Desmond's not the only one. Like, they have other people, like, in this experiment, because it's a goddamn experiment. It's what it is, you know?
Yeah. A goddamn experiment.
So...
And that's a good second or third season cliffhanger revelation. Mm-hmm. When you go from your Desmond, and then you go, no, even though you beat them the Desmond story, guess what? The info they got off of your adventures these past 2 or 3 seasons, let them take stuff up a notch. The Templars are involved in all this stuff, and they own the manufacture of this game, and the people at home are now part of the experiment. That's a great game changer and another chance to recast. You can keep the IP going and constantly have new people come in that exist in the world, but when the actor, it doesn't fit, or God forbid something happens where he can't participate anymore, you don't have to worry about replacing him, because Desmond's story is done. Let's go and we'll tell him Mo's story now. And then Mo gets tired of doing this for 5 years, and he's like, oh, fuck that, I'm gonna go be in the next Mortal Kombat movie. And then, well, Rich is going to tell his story now. And and that's the other thing. You keep it fresh for the audience, because Mo's story was going like this, but Rich's story might have come back. It's going to the same kind of endpoint, but it's coming from a different angle, so it seems like it's freshened up. That's the whole reason why the Defenders can work. When you have the different characters, like Matt Murdock doesn't want to be publicly known. Jessica Jones is, but nobody cares. Luke Cage is out there, and he's the hero of Harlem. They're all the same type of character, a vigilante defending their neighborhood, but they all go about it different ways. That's why it's such an intriguing proposition to put them all there, is because they all do the same thing in different ways.
They lost me about 10 minutes ago. But I was
We know what we're talking about.
They know what they're talking. I'm going to send this video to Ubisoft. We have the entire series written right here. In 20 minutes, we have the entire series written for Assassin's Creed TV series on Netflix. No need to watch it. We have the entire plot already. With season finale cliffhangers. With cliffhangers already involved for seasons 2 and 3 cliffhangers. I'm ready for season 4. I am excited for season 4 already.
I heard there's delays because they're having some contract problems.
I heard there's delays because there was some desyncing somewhere.
Just as Joy-Con, but I was assured by the end of April we would have some good news.
Fuck this shit.
Can't play the video if the
And
controller
fuck
doesn't
Destiny.
work. Yes, fuck Destiny.
And if we were done, that would have been a perfect outro. That would have been awesome.
So let us know in the comments what you think your feelings of the Assassin's Creed TV series and your plot lines and what cliffhangers should be involved in your TV series for Assassin's Creed.